365 Days of Wonder. Mr. Browne's Book of Precepts. Precepts. My father's name was Thomas Browne, and his father's name was Thomas Browne. That's why my name is Thomas Browne. I didn't know it until I was a college senior that there was a far more illustrious Thomas Browne who had lived in England in the 17th century. Sir Thomas Browne was a gifted author, a student of the natural world, a scientist, a scholar, and an outspoken supporter of tolerance at a time when intolerance was the norm. In short, I couldn't have asked for a better namesake. I started reading a lot of Sir Thomas Browne's works in college, including inquiries into very many received tenets and commonly presumed truths, a book that set out to debunk the prevalent false beliefs of the day, and Religio Medici, a work that contained a number of religious inquiries that were considered highly unorthodox at the time. It was while reading the latter that I came across this wonderful line. We carry within us the wonders we seek around us. The beauty and power of that line stopped me cold. For some reason, maybe it was exactly what I needed to hear at that particular moment in my life. A time when I was racked with indecision about whether the career I had chosen for myself, teaching, was full of enough wonder to keep me happy. I wrote the line down on a little slip of paper and taped it onto my wall, where it remained until I graduated. I took it with me to graduate school. I traveled with the Peace Corps and carried it in my wallet. My wife had it laminated and framed for me when we got married, and it now hangs in the foyer of our apartment in the Bronx. It was the first of many precepts in my life, which I began collecting in a scrapbook. Lines from books I've read, fortune cookies, Hallmark card homilies. I even wrote down the Nike ad line, "Just do it," because I thought it was the perfect directive for me. You can draw inspiration from anywhere, after all. I first introduced precepts to my students as a student teacher. I was having a hard time getting my kids interested in the essay writing unit. I believe I had to ask them to write 100 words on something that meant a lot to them. So I brought in the laminated Thomas Browne quote to show them something that meant a lot to me. Well, it turned out they were much more interested in exploring the meaning of the quote itself than they were in its impact on me. So I asked them to write about that instead. I was amazed at the things they came up with. Ever since then, I've used precepts in my classroom. According to Merriam-Webster, a precept is a command or principle intended especially as a general rule of action. For my students, I've always defined it in simpler terms. Precepts are words to live by. Easy. At the beginning of every month, I write a new precept on the board. They copy it, and then we discuss it. At the end of the month, they write an essay about the precept. Then, at the end of the year, I give out my home address and ask the kids to send me a postcard over the summer with a new precept of their own, which could be a quote from a famous person or a precept they've made up. The first year I did this, I remember wondering if I'd get a single precept. I was floored when, by the end of the summer, every single student in each of my classes had sent one in. You can imagine my further astonishment when, the following summer, the same thing happened again. Only this time, it wasn't only from my current class that I received postcards. I also got a handful from the previous year's class. I've been teaching for 10 years. As of this writing, I have about 2,000 precepts. When Mr. Tushman, the middle school director at Beecher Prep, heard this, he suggested that I collect them and turn them into a book that I could share with the world. I was intrigued by the idea, for sure. But where to start? How to choose what precepts to include? I decided I would focus on themes with particular resonance for kids. Kindness, strength of character, overcoming adversity, or simply doing good in the world. I like precepts that somehow elevate the soul. I chose one precept for every day of the year. My hope is that the reader of this book will begin every new day with one of these words to live by. I'm thrilled to be able to share my favorite precepts here. Many are ones I've collected myself over the years. Some were submitted by students. All mean a lot to me, as I hope they will to you. Mr. Browne. Teach him then the sayings of the past, so that he may become a good example for the children. No one is born wise. The Maxims of Ptah-hotep, 2200 BC. January 1st. We carry within us the wonders we seek around us. Sir Thomas Browne. January 2nd. And above all, Watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Royal Dow. January 3rd. 3 things in human life are important. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. Henry James. January 4th. No man is an island, entire of itself. John Donne. January 5th. I am what I am. Popeye the Sailor. Elsie Chrysler Segar. January 6th. All you need is love. John Lennon and Paul McCartney. January 7th. The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain. January 8th. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. Carl Sagan. January 9th. To be able to look back upon one's life in satisfaction is to live twice. Khalil Gibran. January 10th. If the wind will not serve, take to the oars. Latin proverb. January 11th. Don't tell me the sky's the limit when there are footprints on the moon. Paul Brandt. January 12th. How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. Anne Frank. January 13th. However long the night, the dawn will break. African proverb. January 14th. He who knows others is clever, but he who knows himself is enlightened. Lao Tzu. January 15th. The best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. Paul Valéry. January 16th. Just be who you want to be, not what others want to see. Unknown. January 17th. Not all those who wander are lost. J.R.R. Tolkien. January 18th. Make kindness your daily modus operandi and change your world. Annie Lennox. January 19th. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Christopher Robin. A. Milne. January 20th. Have you had a kindness shown? Pass it on. Henry Burton. January 21st. Don't dream it, be it. The Rocky Horror Picture Show. January 22nd. The miracle is not to fly in the air or to walk on the water, but to walk on the earth. Chinese proverb. January 23rd. There is no shame in not knowing. The shame lies in not finding out. Assyrian proverb. January 24th. To thine own self be true. William Shakespeare. January 25th. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Aesop. January 26th. Be yourself. Everyone else is already Oscar Wilde. January 27th. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness. Seneca. January 28th. Know thyself. Inscription at the Oracle of Delphi. January 29th. Laughter is sunshine. It chases winter from the human face. Victor Hugo. January 30th. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt. January 31st. Fate doesn't decide. You do. Dominic. The Sandbox Virtues. Here's a secret, kids. Parents spend a lot of time teaching you how to be polite when you're very young because it's a scientific fact. The world is nicer to polite people. Don't forget to say please, we tell you. Play nice, say thank you. These are elemental virtues. We teach them because they're good things to teach, and we want people to like you. By the time you guys get to middle school, though our priorities seem to shift, do well in school, succeed, study harder. Have you finished your homework yet? That's what we tend to harp on then. Somewhere along the way, we stop emphasizing those elemental virtues. Maybe it's because we assume you learned them by now. Or maybe it's because we've got so many other things we want you to learn. Or maybe, just maybe, it's because there's an unwritten law about middle school kids. It's hard to be nice. The world may prefer polite children, but other middle schoolers don't seem to really appreciate them. And we parents, eager to see you guys get through these Lord of the Flies years, often turn a blind eye to some of the mean stuff that passes for normal. I personally don't buy this notion that all kids go through a mean phase. In fact, I think it's a lot of malarkey, not to mention a little insulting to kids, as a way of justifying something unkind their child has done. What can I do? Kids will be kids. It's all I can do not to bop them on their heads with a friendship bracelet. Here's the thing. With all due respect, guys, I don't think you're always equipped to figure things out on your own. Sometimes there's a lot of unnecessary meanness that happens while you're trying to sort out who you want to be, who your friends are, who your friends are not. Adults spend a lot of time talking about bullying in school these days. But the real problem isn't as obvious as one kid throwing a Slurpee in another kid's face. It's about social isolation. It's about cruel jokes. It's about the way kids treat one another. I've seen it with my own eyes. How old friends can turn against each other. It seems sometimes that it's not enough for them to go their separate way. They literally have to ice their old buddies out just to prove to the new friends that they're no longer still friends. That's the kind of stuff I don't find acceptable. Fine. Don't be friends anymore, but stay kind about it. Be respectful. Is that too much to ask? Nah, I don't think so. Every day at 3:10 p.m., my 5th graders stream out of Beecher Prep at dismissal time. A few of you, the ones who live nearby, walk home. Some of you take a bus or the subway. A lot of you, though, are picked up by parents or caregivers. The point is, either way, most parents don't allow their kids to roam around the city without knowing where they are, who they're with, and what they're doing. Why is that? Because you're still kids. So why should we let you roam wild in the uncharted territory of middle school without just a little bit of guidance? You're asked to navigate social situations every day. Lunchroom politics, peer pressure, teacher relations. Some of you do it very well on your own, absolutely. But others, and let's be honest here, don't. Some of you still need a little help figuring things out. So kids, don't get mad at us if we try to help you in this regard. Be patient with us. It's always tricky as a parent, striking the right balance between too much intervention and too little. So bear with us. We're only trying to help when we remind you about those old elemental virtues we used to teach you back in your toddler days, when you were still playing in sandboxes. It's because playing nice is something that doesn't end when you start middle school. It's something you need to remember every day as you walk through the school hallways on your way to becoming adults. The truth of the matter is this. There is so much nobility lurking inside your souls. Our jobs as parents and educators and teachers is to nurture it, to bring it out, and to let it shine. Mr. Browne. February 1st. It is better to ask some of the questions than to know all the answers. James Thurber. February 2nd. I expect to pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness I can show to any fellow creature, let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. Stephen Grellet. February 3rd. The supreme happiness of life is the conviction that we are loved. Victor Hugo. February 4th. Love a little more each day. Madison. February 5th. Give me a firm place to stand, and I will move the earth. Archimedes. February 6th. I am an expression of the divine. Alice Walker. February 7th. If you feel lost, let your heart be your compass. Emily. February 8th. Everything you can imagine is real. Pablo Picasso. February 9th. If thou follow thy star, thou canst not fail of glorious haven. Dante Alighieri. February 10th. Find your greatness. Rebecca. February 11th. We all have the same roots, and we are all branches of the same tree. Aang. Avatar, The Last Airbender. February 12th. Man can learn nothing unless he proceeds from the known to the unknown. Claude Bernard. February 13th. Beautiful. Lindsay. February 14th. To be loved, be lovable. Ovid. February 15th. The smile is the shortest distance between two persons. Victor Borg. February 16th. Those who try to do something and fail are infinitely better than those who try to do nothing and succeed. Lloyd Jones. February 17th. Every time the sun rises, a new hope begins. Jack. February 18th. The main thing is to be moved, to love, to hope, to tremble, to live. August Rodin. February 19th. The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. Nelson Mandela. February 20th. Whatever you are, be a good one. Abraham Lincoln. February 21st. Don't tell me not to fly. I've simply got to. Bob Merrill and Jules Stein. Don't rain on my parade. February 22nd. Kindly words do not enter so deeply into men as a reputation for kindness. Mencius. February 23rd. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Shreya. February 24th. Keep a green tree in your heart, and a singing bird may come. Chinese proverb. February 25th. They are never alone that are accompanied with noble thoughts. Sir Philip Sidney. February 26th. When you come to the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on. Thomas Jefferson. February 27th. It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. Epictetus. February 28th. For kindness begets kindness evermore. Sophocles. The longest month of the year. I like including a precept about discovery at this time of year. Why at this time of year? Because although February is the shortest month, it also happens to be the longest stretch of time without an event to look forward to, President's Day notwithstanding. In January, students have just come off the holiday high, that is December, with the rush of presents and the thrill of the first few snowfalls behind them. By January 31st, the realization hits. We won't have another big stretch of vacation time until spring break. Arg. Hence the February doldrums. I've always found that it helps to get my students thinking about unexplored frontiers, be they frontiers of the imagination or geographical frontiers. The latter dovetail nicely with what they're usually doing in history at this time of year, exploring either ancient China or ancient Greece, depending on their history teacher. And the former are a great segue into my creative writing unit. I recently used the James Thurber precept. It is better to ask some of the questions than to know all the answers, and got a really interesting essay back from a student named Jack Will. I like this precept a lot. A lot. A lot. It makes me think about all the stuff I don't know, and maybe never, ever will know. I spend a lot of time asking myself questions. Some are stupid questions like, why does poop smell so bad? Why don't human beings come in as many shapes and sizes as dog breeds do? I mean, a Mastiff is like 10 times bigger than a Chihuahua. So why aren't there humans who are 60 feet tall? But I also ask myself bigger questions like, why do people have to die? Why can't we just print more money and give it to people who don't have enough of it? Stuff like that. So the big question I've been asking myself a lot this year is, why do we all look the way we do? Why do I have one friend who looks normal and another friend who doesn't? These are the kinds of questions that I don't think I'll ever know the answers to. But asking myself the questions did make me ask myself another question, which is, what is normal anyway? So I looked it up in oxforddictionaries.com. This is what it said. Normal, adjective, conforming to a standard, usual, typical, or expected. And I was like, conforming to a standard? Usual? Typical? Expected? Ugh. Who the heck wants to be expected? Anyway, how lame is that? So that's why I really like this precept. Because it's true. It's better to ask some really awesome questions than it is to know a lot of dumb answers to stupid stuff. Like, who cares what x equals in some dumb equation? Duh. Answers like that don't matter. But the question, what is normal, does matter. It matters because there's never going to be a right answer, and there's no wrong answer either. The question is all that matters. This is why I love using precepts in my classroom. You throw them out there, and you never know what you're getting back. What's going to strike a chord with a kid, or what's going to make them think a little deeper, a little bigger, than if they were just trying to answer a question from a book. It's one of the things I love most about precept. The sentiments they voice are usually about things that human beings have been grappling with since the dawn of time. I love that my 5th graders are doing the same. Mr. Browne. March 1st. Kind words do not cost much, yet they accomplish much. Blaise Pascal. March 2nd. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead. March 3rd. To me, every hour of the light and dark is a miracle. Every inch of space is a miracle. Walt Whitman. March 4th. How like an angel came I down. Thomas Traherne. March 5th. Superheroes are made, but heroes are born. Antonio. March 6th. A tree is known by its fruit, a man by his deeds. A good deed is never lost. He who sows courtesy reaps friendship, and he who plants kindness gathers love. Saint Basile. March 7th. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson. March 8th. Life is a ticket to the greatest show on earth. Martin H. Fisher. March 9th. To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge. Confucius. March 10th. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. Dalai Lama. March 11th. Always do right. This will gratify some people and astonish the rest. Mark Twain. March 12th. That love is all there is all we know of love. Emily Dickinson. March 13th. What lies behind us and what lies before us are but tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Henry Stanley Haskins. March 14th. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of a single candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. Buko Dendo Kaioke, the teaching of Buddha. March 15th. Paradise on earth is where I am. Voltaire. March 16th. In this world, one needs to be a little too good in order to be good enough. Pierre Carlet de Chamberlain de Marivaux. March 17th. Good actions are the invisible hinges on the doors of heaven. Victor Hugo. March 18th. Be the person who can smile on the worst day. Kate. March 19th. Don't just go with the flow. Take some dares through the rapids. Isabel. March 20th. Where there is love, there is joy. Mother Teresa. March 21st. Hope is like the sun. And it's behind the clouds. It's not gone. You just have to find it. Matthew. March 22nd. Your best takes your time. Thomas. March 23rd. What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness? Jean-Jacques Rousseau. March 24th. The man who moves a mountain must start by moving small stones. Chinese proverb. March 25th. You can do anything you want. All you have to do is believe. March 26th. Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. Dalai Lama. March 27th. As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. March 28th. We must dare. Dare again and go on daring. Georges-Jacques Danton. March 29th. No bird soars too high if he soars with his own wings. William Blake. March 30th. Life is about using the whole box of crayons. RuPaul. March 31st. Life is like a roller coaster with all its ups and downs. Kyler. A spoonful of kindness. When Tommy, my son, was 3 years old, my wife Lily and I took him for his annual checkup, and the pediatrician asked us what his eating habits were like. Well, we confessed. He's going through this phase of only liking chicken fingers and carbs. So we've kind of given up trying to get him to eat vegetables for now. It's become too much of a struggle every night. The pediatrician nodded and smiled, and then said, well, you can't really force him to eat the veggies, guys, but your job is to make sure they're on his plate. He can't eat them if they're not even on his plate. I've thought about that a lot over the years. I think about it with teaching. My students can't learn what I don't teach them. Kindness, empathy, compassion. It's not part of the curriculum. I know, but I still have to keep dishing it out onto their plates every day. Maybe they'll eat it. Maybe they won't. Either way, my job is to keep on serving it to them. Hopefully, a little mouthful of kindness today may make them hungry for a bigger taste of it tomorrow. Mr. Browne. April 1st. What is beautiful is good, and who is good will soon be beautiful. Sappho. April 2nd. 'Tis always morning somewhere in the world. Richard Henry Hengist Horn. April 3rd. Knowledge, in truth, is the great sun in the firmament. Life and power are scattered with all its beams. Daniel Webster. April 4th. Nothing can make our life or the lives of other people more beautiful than perpetual kindness. Leo Tolstoy. April 5th. Live life out loud. Delaney. April 6th. Be the change you want to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi. April 7th. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Soren Kierkegaard. April 8th. Heaven is under our feet, as well as over our heads. Henry David Thoreau. April 9th. Be noble, and the nobleness that lies in other men, sleeping but never dead, will rise in majesty to meet thine own. James Russell Lowell. April 10th. He was a bold man that first ate an oyster. Jonathan Swift. April 11th. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. Vince Lombardi. April 12th. The world is good-natured to people who are good-natured. William Makepeace Thackeray. April 13th. The universe is what you illustrate it to be. Rory. April 14th. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Jimmy Johnson. April 15th. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I could do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Edward Everett Hale. April 16th. You can complain because roses have thorns, or you can be grateful because thorn bushes have roses. Ziggy. Tom Wilson. April 17th. Use what talent you possess. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang, except those that sang best. Henry Van Dyke. April 18th. The goal of life is to make your heartbeat match the beat of the universe, to match your nature with nature. Joseph Campbell. April 19th. Even the toughest dogs can be afraid of vacuums. Anna. April 20th. Do a deed of simple kindness, though its end you may not see. It may reach like widening ripples down a long eternity. Joseph Norris. April 21st. We love the things we love for what they are. Robert Frost. April 22nd. Ideals are like stars. You will not succeed in touching them with your hands, but like the seafaring man on the desert of waters, you choose them as your guides, and following them, you will reach your destiny. Carl Schurz. April 23rd. You don't live in a world all alone. Your brothers are here too. Albert Schweitzer. April 24th. I feel no need for any other faith than my faith in human beings. Pearl S. Buck. April 25th. Today, I have grown taller from walking with the trees. Carl Wilson Baker. April 26th. The great man does not think beforehand of his words that they may be sincere, nor of his actions that they may be resolute. He simply speaks and does what is right. Mencius. April 27th. Wherever you are, it is your own friends who make your world. William James. April 28th. There are many great deeds done in the small struggles of life. Victor Hugo. April 29th. Don't wait until you know who you are to get started. Austin Kleon. April 30th. To each his own is beautiful. Latin proverb. Play your tiles. My grandparents were avid Scrabble players. They played every night, whether they had company or not, on the same Scrabble board they had for over 50 years. Their matches were formidable because they were both incredible players. Interestingly, my grandfather, who was known in my family as being the intellectual, almost always lost to my grandmother. It's not that Grandma wasn't every bit as smart as Grandpa, by the way. It's just that he was the one who had gotten a degree at Columbia, while Grandma stayed home to raise my mother and her sisters. Grandpa was a lawyer, and Grandma was a homemaker. Grandpa had a library of books, and Grandma liked doing crosswords. Grandpa hated to lose, and Grandma whipped his butt 9 out of every 10 games for over 50 years. One time I asked Grandma what her secret to winning was, and she said, "It's simple. Just play your tiles." "Okay, Grandma. A little elaboration is needed here," I answered. "Here's why I always beat your grandfather. He hoards his tiles. When he gets good letters, he holds on to them, waiting to play them on a triple word score. He'll skip a turn to try and get a 7-letter word to get to the 50-point bonus. Or he'll trade in his letters and hope he'll get better ones. That's no way to play." "It's his strategy," I said, trying to defend him. She waved her hand in the air dismissively. "Me? I just play my tiles, whatever tiles I get. Doesn't matter if they're good letters or bad letters. Doesn't matter if they're on a triple word score or not. Whatever tiles I get, I play. I make the most of them. That's why I always beat your grandpa." "Does he know this?" I asked. "Haven't you ever shared this secret with him?" What secret? He's watched me play every night for 50 years. Do you think my way of playing is a secret? Play the tiles you get. That's my secret. Grandpa, I said later to my grandfather, Grandma told me the reason she always beats you at Scrabble is because she always plays her tiles, and you hold on to yours. Have you ever thought about changing your style of playing a bit? Maybe you would win more often. Grandpa poked his finger into my chest. That's the difference between your grandma and me, he answered. I want to win, but only if I can win beautifully. Big, long words. Words no one has ever heard of before. That's me. Your grandmother, she's fine winning with nothing but a string of A's and O's. You know the old saying, sum quid pulchrum est. To each his own is beautiful. That may be true, Grandpa, but Grandma's kicking your butt, I said. Grandpa laughed. Sum quid pulchrum est. Mr. Browne. May 1st. Play the tiles you get. Grandma Nellie. May 2nd. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. John Wesley. May 3rd. There's nothing stronger in the world than gentleness. Han Suyin. May 4th. A single act of kindness throws out roots in all directions, and the roots spring up and make new trees. Father Faber. May 5th. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. Vince Lombardi. May 6th. Cherish that which is within you. Shang Tzu. May 7th. Follow your dreams. It may be a long journey, but the path is right in front of you. Grace. May 8th. It's not the load that breaks you down. It's the way you carry it. C.S. Lewis. May 9th. Though we travel the world over to find the beautiful, we must carry it with us, or we find it not. Ralph Waldo Emerson. May 10th. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. Rumi. May 11th. If plan A doesn't work, just remember, the alphabet has 25 more letters. Unknown. May 12th. The world does not know how much it owes to the common kindnesses which so abound everywhere. J.R. Miller, The Beauty of Kindness. May 13th. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Helen Keller. May 14th. You were born an original. Don't become a copy. Dustin. May 15th. Find things that shine and move toward them. Mia Farrow. May 16th. If you want to be well-liked, you gotta be yourself. Gavin. May 17th. If your ship doesn't come in, swim out to it. Jonathan Winters. May 18th. All we are saying is give peace a chance. John Lennon. May 19th. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. Robert Byrne. May 20th. Believe in life. W.E.B. Du Bois. May 21st. You're free to make your own choices, but you will never be free of the consequences of your choices. Shrishti. May 22nd. Making 1 million friends is not a miracle. The miracle is to make such a friend who can stand with you when the millions are against you. Unknown. May 23rd. Have I done an unselfish thing? Well then, I have my reward. Marcus Aurelius. May 24th. The wind is blowing. Adore the wind. Pythagoras. May 25th. The chief happiness for a man is to be what he is. Desiderius Erasmus. May 26th. A single conversation across the table with a wise man is worth a month's study of books. Chinese proverb. May 27th. Your actions are all you can own. Flynn. May 28th. Just love life, and it will love you back. Madeline. May 29th. Kindness is a language the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Mark Twain. May 30th. Is it so small a thing to have enjoyed the sun, to have lived light in the spring, to have loved, to have thought, to have done, to have advanced true friends, and beat down baffling foes? Matthew Arnold. May 31st. A multitude of small delights constitute happiness. Charles Baudelaire. Your actions are noted. Every now and again, I have to remind my students that they're not invisible. I can see you rolling your eyes, I tell them. They think this is funny, usually. And it is, usually. But the other night, I was reminded of how easy it is for kids to forget that their actions are indeed noted. I was attending the upper school play at Beecher Prep and took a seat next to the mother of one of my former students, whom I'll call Browne. This was a sweet, bright girl who had experienced some difficulties with a group of mean girls in the middle school. Browne was shy and a little awkward, so I was surprised when her mom told me that she'd been cast in the lead role of the play. Her mom was so proud. She said that her daughter had really come out of her shell in upper school, due largely to the recognition she'd gotten for her singing and acting talent. When the play started, the moment Browne came on stage, I understood what her mom meant. Gone was that awkward little girl I remembered from 5th grade, replaced by a very confident leading lady who could easily have been mistaken for a young Nicole Kidman. Good for you, Browne, I thought to myself. But no sooner had she finished singing her first verse than I noticed sitting a couple of rows in front of us those same 3 girls who used to taunt her in middle school. None of them even went to the school anymore. They hadn't been accepted to the upper school largely because of the school's strong anti-bullying commitment. These girls snickered the moment Browne came on stage. They whispered to one another behind open hands. I'm sure they didn't even think anyone was noticing them. But I could see out of the corner of my eye that Browne's mom saw everything as clearly as I did. I can't even describe the look on her face. It was heartbreaking. I waited for Browne to finish her solo. The moment the applause started, I leaned over to the seat in front of me and tapped the shoulder of one of the girls. She turned around and started to smile when she saw me. But then she noticed my expression as I mouthed the words, "Shut up." The other girls saw this too. I think the shock of seeing Mr. Browne, their formerly mellow English teacher, so angry, using language that he had never used with them before, had its intended effect. They were quiet as church mice for the rest of the first act. During intermission, they quickly disappeared and didn't come back for Act 2. By the time the play ended, I had almost forgotten about those idiotic girls amid the thunderous applause. I turned to Browne's mom to congratulate her on her daughter's truly brilliant performance. She was smiling, but there were tears in her eyes. I don't know if they were tears of pride or if there was a trace of bitterness over the fact that those girls had marred what should have been a completely joyful night for her. All I know is that my memory of those girls will be forever altered by their thoughtless behavior that night. I'm sure they didn't mean for Browne's mom to see them. But it doesn't matter. Your actions are noted, kids, and remembered. Mr. Browne. June 1st. Just follow the day and reach for the sun. The Polyphonic Spree. June 2nd. Ignorance is not saying, I don't know. Ignorance is saying, I don't want to know. Unknown. June 3rd. Start by doing the necessary, then the possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. St. Francis of Assisi. June 4th. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is going to be all right. Bob Marley. June 5th. A bit of fragrance clings to the hand that gives flowers. Chinese proverb. June 6th. Follow every rainbow till you find your dream. Rogers and Hammerstein. June 7th. Life moves forward. If you keep looking back, you won't be able to see where you're going. Charles Carroll. June 8th. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Ralph Waldo Emerson. June 9th. One of the secrets of life is that all that is really worth the doing is what we do for others. Lewis Carroll. June 10th. Whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're absolutely right. Henry Ford. June 11th. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. Japanese proverb. June 12th. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. Albert Einstein. June 13th. Be humble, for you are made of earth. Be noble, for you are made of stars. Serbian proverb. June 14th. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Mahatma Gandhi. June 15th. We do not ask for what useful purpose the birds do sing, for the song is their pleasure, since they were created for singing. Similarly, we ought not to ask why the human mind troubles to fathom the secrets of the heavens. Johannes Kepler. June 16th. Your life is your story. Go write it. Claire. June 17th. Even if you don't win, listen to the small voice inside of you that says you are always a winner. Josh. June 18th. When we know how to read our own hearts, we acquire wisdom of the hearts of others. Dennis Diderot. June 19th. Let me not pray to be sheltered from dangers, but to be fearless in facing them. Rabindranath Tagore. June 20th. Thank you to life that has given me so much. It's given me the strength of my weary feet, with which I have walked through cities and puddles, beaches and deserts, mountains and plains. Violeta Parra, gracias a la vida. June 21st. The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it's too low and we reach it. Michelangelo Baronati. June 22nd. He who travels has stories to tell. Gallic proverb. June 23rd. Courage is found in unlikely places. J.R.R. Tolkien. June 24th. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Emil Coué. June 25th. Sail the ocean even when others stay on shore. Emma. June 26th. Life is not colorful. Life is coloring. Paco. June 27th. The true secret of happiness lies in taking a genuine interest in all the details of daily life. William Morris. June 28th. How many things are looked upon as quite impossible until they have actually been effected. Pliny the Elder. June 29th. Kindness is like snow. It beautifies everything it covers. Khalil Gibran. June 30th. Every day may not be glorious, but there's something glorious in every day. Find the glory. Caleb. We are stardust. I have to admit, I love getting postcard precepts in the summer. Some of them come on real postcards. Others come as a part of longer letters, like this one. Dear Mr. Browne, Dear Mr. Browne, here's my precept. If you can get through middle school without hurting anyone's feelings, that's really cool beans. I hope you're having a super nice summer. My mom and I went to visit Auggie's family in Montauk on July 4th. They had fireworks on the beach. Plus, there was a telescope on his roof. Every night I got to go up and look at the stars. Did I ever tell you that I want to be an astronomer when I grow up? I know all the constellations by heart. I also know a lot about the science of stars. For instance, do you know what stars are made of? Maybe you do because you're a teacher. But a lot of people don't. A star is pretty much just a giant cloud of hydrogen and helium gases. When it gets old, it starts to shrink, which kind of creates all these other elements. And then, when all the elements get so tiny, they can't go anywhere. They explode and send all their stardust into the universe. That dust is what forms planets and moons and mountains and even people. Isn't that so awesome? We're all made of stardust. Love, Summer Dawson. Yep, I sure do love my job. As long as little kids like Summer, keep reaching for the stars. I'll be here to cheer them on. Mr. Browne. July 1st. Practice random kindness and senseless acts of beauty. Ann Herbert. July 2nd. Don't be afraid to take a big step. You can't cross a chasm in 2 small jumps. David Lloyd George. July 3rd. It is always easier to fight for one's principles than to live up to them. Alfred Adler. July 4th. Great works are performed, not by strength, but by perseverance. Samuel Johnson. July 5th. Shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Les Browne. July 6th. Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. Unknown. July 7th. Greatness lies not in being strong, but in the right using of strength. Henry Ward Beecher. July 8th. Shall we make a new rule of life from tonight? Always to try to be a little kinder than is necessary. J. M. Barrie. July 9th. Be a lamp unto yourself. Buddha. July 10th. There's only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. Aldous Huxley. July 11th. At the end of the game, pawns and kings go back into the same box. Italian proverb. July 12th. To the world, you are one person, but to one person, you may be the world. Unknown. July 13th. Each of us has his own alphabet with which to create poetry. Irving Stone. July 14th. If something stands to be gained, nothing will be lost. Miguel de Cervantes. July 15th. Determination is the wake-up call to the human will. Anthony Robbins. July 16th. The sun will come out tomorrow. Annie Martin Charnin. July 17th. Ride on, roughshod, if need be. Smooth shod, if that will do. But ride on over all obstacles and win the race. Charles Dickens. July 18th. The best things in life are not things. Jeannie Moore. July 19th. Tomorrow to fresh woods and pastures new. John Milton. July 20th. If you want to learn about the world, go out in it. May. July 21st. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky. July 22nd. Remember, there's no such thing as a small act of kindness. Every act creates a ripple with no logical end. Scott Adams. July 23rd. Success does not come through grades, degrees, or distinctions. It comes through experiences that expand your belief in what is possible. Matea. July 24th. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt. July 25th. An age is called dark, not because the light fails to shine, but because people fail to see it. James Michener. July 26th. There is no wealth, but life. John Ruskin. July 27th. You're never a loser until you quit trying. Mike Ditka. July 28th. Return to old watering holes for more than water. Friends and dreams are there to meet you. African proverb. July 29th. The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. Carl Sagan. July 30th. Those who bring sunshine to the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves. J. M. Barrie. July 31st. We must be willing to let go of the life we have planned, so as to have the life that is waiting for us. E. M. Forster. Fresh starts. Sometimes people surprise you. You think you have them figured out, but they'll do something that makes you realize just how fathomless the human heart truly is. To that end, and because the heart of a child is still such a work in progress, no one can surprise you more than a child. This happened to me over the course of a recent email exchange with a former student. This kid did not have a great year in the 5th grade. Most of it was his own doing. He made bad choices. He was something of a bully, and the tide turned against him, as it should have. He found that his small-minded dislikes weren't as universal as he thought, and that he was alone in his prejudices. However, I always suspected that there was a little bit more to this boy than that. His personal essays betrayed a more feeling heart than his actions implied. At times, it was hard to reconcile the boy who could be so hateful with the boy who wrote the essays. So, I held out hope for him, and when I got an email from him over the summer, I couldn't have been happier. To T. Browne at beecherschool.edu. From Julian Albans at easymail.com. My precept. Hi, Mr. Browne. I just sent you my precept in the mail. Sometimes it's good to start over. It's on a postcard of a gargoyle. I wrote this precept because I'm going to a new school in September. I ended up hating Beecher Prep. I didn't like the students, but I did like the teachers. I thought your class was great, so don't take my not going back personally. I don't know if you know the whole long story, but basically the reason I'm not going back to Beecher Prep is, well, not to name names, but there was one student I really didn't get along with. Actually, it was 2 students. You can probably guess who they are. Anyway, these kids were not my favorite people in the world. We started writing mean notes to each other. I repeat, each other. It was a 2-way street, but I'm the one who got in trouble for it. Just me. It was so unfair. The truth is, Mr. Tushman had it in for me because my mom was trying to get him fired. Anyway, long story short, I got suspended for 2 weeks for writing the notes. No one knows this, though. It's a secret, so please don't tell anyone. The school said it had a zero-tolerance policy against bullying. But I don't think what I did was bullying. My parents got so mad at the school, they decided to enroll me in a different school next year. So, yeah, that's the story. I really wish that student had never come to Beecher Prep. My whole year would have been so much better. I hated having to be in his classes. He gave me nightmares. I would still be going to Beecher Prep if he hadn't been there. It's a bummer. I really liked your class, though. You were a great teacher. I wanted you to know that. To Julian Albans at easymail.com. From T. Browne at beecherprepschool.edu. My precept. Hi, Julian. Thanks so much for your email. I'm looking forward to getting the gargoyle postcard. I was sorry to hear you won't be coming back to Beecher Prep. I always thought you were a great student and a gifted writer. By the way, I love your precept. I agree. Sometimes it's good to start over. A fresh start gives us the chance to reflect on the past, weigh the things we've done, and apply what we've learned from those things to the way we move forward. If we don't examine the past, we don't learn from it. As for the kids you didn't like, I do think I know who you're talking about. I'm sorry the year didn't turn out to be a happy one for you, but I hope you take a little time to ask yourself why. Things that happen to us, even the bad stuff, can often teach us a little bit about ourselves. Do you ever wonder why you had such a hard time with these 2 students? Was it, perhaps, their friendship that bothered you? Were you troubled by Augie's physical appearance? You mentioned that you started having nightmares. Sometimes fear can make even the nicest kids say and do things they wouldn't ordinarily say or do. Perhaps you should explore these feelings further. In any case, I wish you the best of luck in your new school, Julian. You're a good kid, a natural leader. Just remember to use your leadership for good, huh? Don't forget, always choose kind. To T. Browne at beecherprepschool.edu. From Julian Albans at easymail.com. My precept. Thanks so much for your email, Mr. Browne. It really made me feel good. Like, you really get me. And you don't think I'm a bad kid? Which is nice. I feel like everyone thinks I'm this demon child. It's nice to know you don't. I had begun to read your email, and my grandmother saw me smiling, so she asked me to read it out loud to her. Grandmère is French. I'm staying with her in Paris for the summer. So I read it to her, and we got into this whole long talk after. Grandmère is old, but she's still kind of with it. And anyway, guess what? She totally agreed with you. She thinks maybe I was kind of mean to Augie because I was a little afraid of him. And after talking to her about it, I think maybe you guys are right. The thing about the nightmares I was having is that I used to get bad nightmares when I was little. Night terrors. Anyway, I hadn't had one in a long time, but the first time I saw Augie in Mr. Tushman's office, I started having them again. It sucked. It actually made me not want to go to school because I didn't want to see his face again. I know I would have had a better year if Augie had never come to Beecher Prep. But I know it's not his fault that he looks the way he does. My grandmother told me this long story about a boy she knew when she was a girl, and how kids used to be mean to him. It made me feel so sorry for him. It made me feel bad about some of the things I said to Augie. So anyway, I wrote Augie a note. I don't have his address, though. So can I mail it to you so that you can mail it to Augie? I don't know how much the stamp costs, but I'll totally pay you back. It's a nice note, by the way. Don't worry. Thanks again, Mr. Browne. Seriously, thanks. To Julian Albans at easymail.com. From T. Browne at beecherprepschool.edu. Proud. Julian, I can't tell you how proud I am that you've taken this big step. I would be honored to mail that note to Augie for you when I get it. And you don't have to worry about paying me back for the stamp. Looks like you're really living up to your precept. Good for you, Julian. Look, the truth is, it's not easy coping with fear. In fact, it's one of the hardest things human beings have to face. That's because fear isn't always rational. Do you know the origin of fear? It goes back to the dawn of mankind. When we were pre-humans, we developed fear as a mechanism to survive in a tough world. Poisonous snakes and spiders, saber-toothed cats, wolves. The instinctual response to a perceived danger would trigger adrenaline inside us, and we could run away faster or fight better in response to the perceived danger. It's a very natural instinct, Julian. To be afraid is one of the things that make us human. But another thing that makes us human is our ability to deal with fear. We have other traits that we rely on to help us cope with our fears. The ability to be courageous despite our fear. The ability to regret. The ability to feel. The ability to be kind. These traits work together, along with fear, to make us better people. Next year is going to be a great year for you, Julian. I can feel it. I have faith in you. Just give everyone a chance and you'll do fine. Best of luck to you. Sometimes, all a kid needs is a little push to have a revelation. I'm not saying I was that push. I think Julian's very wise grandmother. The point is, everyone's got a story. The challenge with some kids is to be patient enough to listen. Mr. Browne. August 1st. That is the beginning of knowledge. The discovery of something we do not understand. Frank Herbert. August 2nd. Far away in the sunshine are my highest aspirations. I may not reach them, but I can look up and see their beauty, believe in them, and try to follow where they lead. Louisa May Alcott. August 3rd. Just as there is no loss of basic energy in the universe, so no thought or action is without its effects, present or ultimate, seen or unseen, felt or unfelt. Norman Cousins. August 4th. I am part of all that I have met. Alfred Lord Tennyson. August 5th. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise. Seek what they sought. Matsuo Basho. August 6th. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. Marianne Rodmarker. August 7th. The more I wonder, the more I love. Alice Walker. August 8th. You can never cross the ocean unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Andre Zita. August 9th. One of the most essential prerequisites to happiness is unbounded tolerance. A.C. Fifield. August 10th. You don't get harmony when everyone sings the same note. Doug Floyd. August 11th. Always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. E.B. White. August 12th. Life is not meant to be easy, my child. But take courage. It can be delightful. George Bernard Shaw. August 13th. I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. Jana Stanfield. August 14th. Be kind and carry on. Unknown. August 15th. The splendid achievements of the intellect, like the soul, are everlasting. Sallust. August 16th. The sage has one advantage. He is immortal. If this is not his century, many others will be. Balthazar Gracian. August 17th. The things that make me different are the things that make me, me. Piglet. A. Milne. August 18th. We measure minds by their stature. It would be better to estimate them by their beauty. Joseph Joubert. August 19th. It always seems impossible until it is done. Nelson Mandela. August 20th. A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. Bruce Lee. August 21st. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. African proverb. August 22nd. A stumble may prevent a fall. English proverb. August 23rd. Whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. Philip Dormer Stanhope. August 24th. Yesternight, the sun went hence, and yet is here today. John Donne. August 25th. Kindness, like a boomerang, always returns. Unknown. August 26th. Just keep swimming, no matter how hard the current. Eva. August 27th. Wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one person can embrace it, but a tribe can. African proverb. August 28th. The butterfly counts not months, but moments, and has time enough. Rabindranath Tagore. August 29th. A good name will shine forever. African proverb. August 30th. Very little is needed to make a happy life. Marcus Aurelius. August 31st. Nothing in nature is unbeautiful. Alfred Lord Tennyson. Glitter. Kindness can spread from person to person like glitter. Anyone who's ever introduced glitter into any kind of art project at school knows exactly of what I speak. You can't shake it off you. You pass it on to the next person. Its sparkling remnants linger for days. And for each tiny dot you find, you know that 100 more have seemingly vanished. But where did they go? What happens to all that glitter? I had a boy in my class last year whose name was August. He was quite special, and not because of his face. There was just something about his indomitable spirit that captured me and a lot of the people around him. The year turned out to be a raging success for Augie. I was very glad about that. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that a happy ending to a 5th grade year would guarantee him a happy life. I know he'll have more than his share of challenges, but what I gleaned from his triumphant year was this. He has what he needs inside of him, to stand up to life's challenges. Augie will have a beautiful life. That's my prediction. I got an email from him the other day that kind of validates this prediction. To T. Browne at beecherschool.edu from A. Pullman at beecherschool.edu. Read the postcard. Hey there, Mr. Browne. Long time no speak. I hope you're having a great summer. I sent you my precept last month. Hope you got it. It had a giant fish on it. From Montauk. So I'm writing to thank you for sending me Julian's note in the mail. Whoa! I did not see that coming. When I opened your letter, I was like, what is this other envelope? And then I opened it and I saw the handwriting and I was like, no way. Is Julian sending me mean notes again? You probably don't know this, but Julian left some really mean notes in my locker last year. Anyway, it turned out that this note wasn't a mean note. It was actually an apology. Can you believe it? It was sealed, so maybe you didn't read it, but this is what the note said. Dear Augie, I want to apologize for the stuff I did last year. I've been thinking about it a lot. You didn't deserve it. I wish I could have a do-over. I would be nicer. I hope you don't remember how mean I was when you're 80 years old. Have a nice life. Julian. P.S. If you're the one who told Mr. Tushman about the notes, don't worry. I'm not mad. I'm kind of in a state of shock about this note. By the way, he's wrong about me being the one who told Mr. Tushman. It wasn't me, or Summer, or Jack. Maybe Mr. Tushman really does have microscopic spy satellites tracking everything we do in school. Maybe he's even watching me right now. If you're listening, Mr. Tushman, I hope you had a great summer. Anyway, just goes to show you never know with people. To A. Pullman at beecherschool.edu from T. Browne at beecherschool.edu. Re the postcard. Hey there, Augie. And Mr. Tushman, if you're listening. I just wanted to write you a quick little note to say how happy I am that you got some closure with Julian. There's nothing that can make up for what he put you through. But there must be some satisfaction in knowing that he's grown as a person because of you. You're right. You just never know with people. See you next month. To T. Browne at beecherschool.edu from A. Pullman at beecherschool.edu. Read the truth revealed. Yeah, it's true. You never know. I showed my mom the postcard, and she just about fainted. Will wonders never cease, she said. Then I told Jack, and he was like, did you check the postcard for poison? You know Jack. But seriously, I don't know what might have motivated Julian to write the apology. But I really appreciate it. The one thing I still don't know is, who told Mr. Tushman about the notes? Was it you, Mr. Browne? To A. Pullman at beecherschool.edu from T. Browne at beecherschool.edu. The truth revealed. Ha! I promise it wasn't me who told Mr. Tushman. I had no idea about those awful notes. It may be just one of those mysteries that never get solved. To T. Browne at beecherschool.edu from A. Pullman at beecherschool.edu. Truth revealed. Here's the thing about glitter. Once it's out of the bottle, there's just no way of putting it back. It's the same with kindness. Once it pours out of your soul, there's no way of containing it. It just continues to spread from person to person, a shining, sparkling, wonderful thing. Mr. Browne. September 1st. When given the choice between being right or being kind, choose kind. Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. September 2nd. Begin, be bold, and venture to be wise. Horace. September 3rd. The wisest men follow their own course. Euripides. September 4th. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. George Bernard Shaw. September 5th. Beauty is not in the face. Beauty is a light in the heart. Khalil Gibran. September 6th. The secret of getting things done is to act. Dante Alighieri. September 7th. Accept what you can't change. Change what you can't accept. Unknown. September 8th. You can't have a rainbow without a little bit of rain. Unknown. September 9th. An act of kindness never dies, but extends the invisible undulations of its influence over the breadth of centuries. Father Faber. September 10th. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Frederick Douglass. September 11th. Every hour of the light and dark is a miracle. Walt Whitman. September 12th. Never hesitate to tell the truth, and never, ever give in or give up. Bella Abzug. September 13th. Find beauty in the world, and the world will find beauty in you. Zoe. September 14th. Sometimes rejection in life is really redirection. Tavis Smiley. September 15th. I don't believe you have to be better than everybody else. I believe you have to be better than you thought you could be. Ken Venturi. September 16th. Being nice is being cool. Alexis. September 17th. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. Aristotle. September 18th. Sometimes the questions are complicated, but the answers are simple. Dr. Seuss. September 19th. You are a conductor of light. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. September 20th. Knowledge is love and light and vision. Helen Keller. September 21st. Strong people don't put others down. They lift them up. Michael P. Watson. September 22nd. To him whose elastic and vigorous thoughts keep pace with the sun, the day is a perpetual morning. Henry David Thoreau. September 23rd. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word. Martin Luther King, Jr. September 24th. Treat others how you want to be treated. Proverb. September 25th. Nothing happens unless first a dream. Carl Sandburg. September 26th. Doing your best is the best you can do. Riley. September 27th. Come forth into the light of things. Let nature be your teacher. William Wordsworth. September 28th. The immensity of the values of persons to each other, and of kind deeds and affectionate inventions between them, for the making of happiness. James Villa Blake, More Than Kin. September 29th. You are your own little light. Shine bright so everyone can see. Elizabeth. September 30th. There are always flowers for those who want to see them. Henri Matisse. Choosing kind. I've always thought that good teaching is about illumination. Sure, we teach things kids might not know, but a lot of the time, we're just shedding light on the stuff they already do know. There's a lot of that happening in the 5th grade. Kids know how to read, but I'm trying to get them to love reading. Kids know how to write, but I'm trying to inspire them to express themselves better. In both instances, they have the materials they need already inside them. I'm just here to guide them a bit, to shed a little light, to illume. That's one of the reasons I like to start every year off with the Dr. Wayne W. Dyer precept about choosing kind. The kids are all new to middle school. A lot of them don't know each other. I think of this precept as a preemptive strike against much of what is to come, an inception in their psyches. I plant a little notion of kindness, so that at least it's there. This seedling buried inside them. Will it take root? Will it flower? Who knows? But either way, I've done my deed. When given the choice between being right or being kind, choose kind. Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. This particular quote usually provokes days of discussion after I introduce it. I often start my conversation about precepts with a general survey. Do you like the precept? Does it apply to how you live your life? What do you think it means? Then I start talking about the obvious benefits of the precept. If everyone adopted that quote as his or her own personal precept, I ask them, wouldn't the world be a better place? Imagine if nations adopted it as a mandate. Wouldn't there be fewer conflicts? Some kids agree, adding that if nations chose to be kind instead of right, it might even end world hunger. Other kids argue that being wealthy doesn't have anything to do with being right. I sometimes ask students how hard it would be for them to choose to back down from an argument with their moms or dads or siblings if they knew they were right and the other person was wrong. Would they give in just to let the other person save face? Why? Why not? This part of the discussion is often very lively. It's not so simple a thing to choose to be kind. It's one thing to back down from an argument with someone you love, a friend. Say that because you don't see the point in winning the argument at the cost of your friend's feelings. But what if you believe in something that no one else believes in? What if you're the only one who knows you're right? Should you back down just to be kind? What if you were Galileo and you knew you were right about the planets revolving around the sun? Even though the rest of the world thought you were crazy, would you back down? What if you were living in the 1950s and you were against segregation? Would you back down just to be polite? What if you were standing up for something you believed in? Would you really want to back down just for the sake of kindness? No. You'd stand up and fight, right? All this will often lead to some kids questioning whether the precept is really good. After all, at this point, I always suggest to them that maybe the most important words in the precept aren't kind or right. Maybe the most important word in that whole sentence is the word choose. You have the choice. What do you choose? As I said, my job is to plant the notion in your minds, kids. Inception. Once the seed is planted, all I try to do is keep shedding some light on it and watch it grow. In time, you'll begin shining your own lights, and then, watch out, world. Mr. Browne. October 1st. Your deeds are your monuments. Inscription on an Egyptian tomb. October 2nd. I do not believe in a fate that falls on men however they act, but I do believe in a fate that falls on them unless they act. G.K. Chesterton. October 3rd. It is better to be in the dark with a friend than to be in the light without one. John. October 4th. What you do every day matters more than what you do every once in a while. Unknown. October 5th. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Dr. Seuss. October 6th. Be bold enough to use your voice, brave enough to listen to your heart, and strong enough to live the life you've always imagined. Unknown. October 7th. Great opportunities to help others seldom come, but small ones surround us every day. Sally Cock. October 8th. Invite others to wonder with you. Austin Kleon. Steal like an artist. October 9th. Kindness is the golden chain by which society is bound together. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. October 10th. If you can't change your fate, change your attitude. Amy Tan. October 11th. Rise above the little things. John Burroughs. October 12th. Inward happiness almost always follows a kind action. Father Faber. October 13th. I ask not for a lighter burden, but for broader shoulders. Jewish proverb. October 14th. Be yourself. You will not get a second chance to. Daniel. October 15th. Love truth, but pardon error. Voltaire. October 16th. What makes night within us may leave stars. Victor Hugo. October 17th. Normal is a setting on a washing machine. Unknown. October 18th. The best angle from which to approach any problem is the triangle. Unknown. October 19th. Don't choose the one who is beautiful to the world, but rather choose the one who makes your world beautiful. Harry Styles. October 20th. Seek not, my soul, immortal life, but make the most of what is within thy reach. Pindar. October 21st. We make our world significant by the courage of our questions and the depth of our answers. Carl Sagan. October 22nd. Fashion your life as a garden of beautiful deeds. Unknown. October 23rd. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Ian McLaren. October 24th. The soul aids the body, and at certain moments raises it. It is the only bird which bears up its own cage. Victor Hugo. October 25th. Everything has its wonders, even darkness and silence, and I learn, whatever state I am in, therein to be content. Helen Keller. October 26th. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. October 27th. Even the darkest hour has only 60 minutes. Maurice Mandel. October 28th. The mind is everything. What you think you become. Unknown. October 29th. Constant kindness can accomplish much. As the sun makes ice melt, kindness causes misunderstanding, mistrust, and hostility to evaporate. Albert Schweitzer. October 30th. Find out what your gift is and nurture it. Katy Perry. October 31st. The way to have a friend is to be a friend. Hugh Black. Of baboons and men. I read an article a few years ago about a couple of biologists who studied a troop of baboons over a 20-year period. This particular troop was full of very aggressive alpha male baboons that routinely attacked and bullied the females and weaker males in the troop, depriving them access to food sources. This proved unexpectedly advantageous one day when the alpha males ate infected meat. They all died, but the female and weaker males survived. Within a short time, the baboon troop took on a totally new dynamic. They were significantly less aggressive, more social, and behaviorally less stressed than before. What's more, these changes lasted long after the first generation of nicer baboons died out. New baboons joining the troop assimilated the less aggressive behavior and passed it on. The transmission of kindness, if such it could be called, took root and it grew. So, why am I talking about baboons? No, I'm not about to compare a class of 5th graders to baboons. Don't worry. But I am going to go out on a limb, no pun intended, and draw the following lesson. A small dominant clique can set the tone for a group. Ask any teacher. If you're lucky enough to have a few alpha kids in your class who can set a positive tone for the year, you're in for a good year. Conversely, if you happen to get a few dominant kids who are bent on making trouble, then fasten your seatbelts. Last year turned out to be a great year. Although the usual 5th grade antics were intensified by the Auggie and Julian rift, which ended well for Auggie, there was little drama among the girls. Summer, with her self-confident, sprightly nature was a great influence. I had another student, Charlotte, who was also very sweet. We had this exchange via Google Docs the other day. Hi, Mr. Browne. I'm writing an article for the school newspaper and was wondering if I could interview you about Precepts. Hope you have the time. Hi, Charlotte. I'd be happy to help. Oh, yay! Thank you. First of all, did you get my precept over the summer? It's not enough to be friendly. You have to be a friend. Yes, I did. Thank you for sending it. I liked it very much. Thanks. You're probably wondering why I chose that precept. Yes, actually. I'm very curious. Oh, well, here's why. Do you remember at graduation how Augie won the Beecher Award? I thought that was so cool because he really deserved it. But I also kind of thought that other people should have won it too. Like Jack and Summer. They were such good friends to Augie, even in the beginning when kids were running away from him. Hey, this part isn't going to be in the newspaper, right? Totally not. Just checking. Sorry to interrupt. No prob. It's just that I started thinking about how I had never really gotten to know Augie myself. Like, I was nice to him. I said hello in the hallways. I was never mean to him, but, you know, I never did what Summer did. I never sat down with him at lunchtime. I never defended him to my friends like Jack did. Don't be too hard on yourself, Charlotte. You were always very nice. Yeah, but being nice is not the same as choosing kind. I see your point. This year, I started sitting at the Summer table. It's me, Augie, Summer, Jack, Maya, and Reed. I know some kids still don't like being around Augie, but that's their problem, right? Very right. So anyway, back to the newspaper article. I was wondering if you could share with readers why you first started collecting precepts. What inspired you? I guess I first came upon the notion of collecting precepts when I was in college. I happened upon the writings of Sir Thomas Browne, a 17th century man of all trades, and found his work deeply moving. Seriously? His name was Thomas Browne? Incredible coincidence, isn't it? So, when did you start teaching precepts to kids? Not too long afterward, when I started student teaching. Actually, it's funny that you're asking me these questions, because I've been thinking about putting together a book of all the precepts I've collected over the years, along with some essays, in which I touch upon some of the very questions you're asking me. Really? That is such an awesome idea. I would totally buy that book. Good. I'm glad you like it. So, I think those were the only questions I had. I'm looking forward to reading your book when it comes out. Thank you. Bye, Charlotte. What I love most about this exchange was the idea that Charlotte herself realized the profound impact of kindness. I began this essay with the true story of baboons, and ended with the story of a girl. In both, the transmission of kindness had taken root. What can biologists and teachers alike do but marvel at its impact? Mr. Browne. November 1st. Have no friends not equal to yourself. Confucius. November 2nd. It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. Seneca. November 3rd. No one is good at everything, but everyone is good at something. Clark. November 4th. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Oprah Winfrey. November 5th. In kindness is encompassed every variety of wisdom. Ernesto Sabato. November 6th. Don't strive for love. Be it. Hugh Prather. November 7th. Good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know they're always there. Unknown. November 8th. When life gives you lemons, make orange juice. Be unique. JJ. November 9th. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Milton Berle. Harry Styles. November 16th. To succeed in life, you need 3 things: a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. Reba McEntire. November 17th. The devotion of thought to an honest achievement makes the achievement possible. Mary Baker Eddy. November 18th. When you are living the best version of yourself, you inspire others to live the best versions of themselves. Steve Maraboli. November 19th. The happiness of life is made up of minute fractions, the little, soon-forgotten charities of a kiss or smile, a kind look, a heartfelt compliment, and the countless infinitesimals of pleasurable and genial feeling. Samuel Taylor Coleridge. November 20th. If you don't know, you should ask. Haley. November 21st. To love another person is to see the face of God. Les Miserables, the musical. Alan Boblil. November 22nd. Kindness can become its own motive. We are made kind by being kind. Eric Hoffer. November 23rd. What this world needs is a new kind of army. The army of the kind. Cleveland Armory. November 24th. Let us be grateful to people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. Marcel Proust. November 25th. And the song from beginning to end I found again in the heart of a friend. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. November 26th. Happiness is a perfume you cannot pour on others without getting a few drops on yourself. Unknown. November 27th. Good deeds can lead to more good deeds, which can lead to more good deeds that will eventually lead back to you. Nicholas. November 28th. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. Beverly Sills. November 29th. When it's dark, be the one who turns on the light. Joseph. November 30th. Big shots are only little shots who keep shooting. Christopher Morley. Heroes. One of my students dressed up as Frodo for Halloween last month, which caused me to casually make this offhand remark. I love Frodo, but let's face it, Samwise Gamgee is the greatest hero of Middle-earth. Well, you'd have thought I just said we were doing away with Halloween or something, judging from the number of gasps and no ways I got. I don't remember the last time one of my statements generated so much controversy in my classroom, although the class was more or less evenly split between Aragorn and Frodo as the greatest hero. With some Gandalf advocates, not one person agreed with me about Samwise. So I tried to elaborate on my crazy thinking. Sam, I reminded them, was the loyal companion to Frodo. Through thick and thin, all those times Frodo was about to give up, Sam kept him going. When Frodo couldn't carry the ring anymore, Sam took Frodo on his back across the deserted plains of Mordor. When Sam thought Frodo was dead, he took the ring himself and set about to destroy it. And when the ring started working its seduction on him, Sam was one of the few creatures in all of Middle-earth who were able to resist the temptation. In a way, I told the kids, Sam stands as a shining example of the 4 virtues. In classical antiquity, it was believed that to be a truly great person, one should have in equal proportions the following 4 virtues. Wisdom. Prudence as garnered from experience, or the ability to respond appropriately to any given situation. Justice. The ability to fight for what is right. The perpetual and constant will to render to each one his right. Courage. The ability to confront fear, uncertainty, or intimidation. Temperance. The ability to practice moderation, even when tempted to give in to one's own self-interest or desire. Temperance is the art of self-control. Samwise Gamgee is the epitome of all those virtues, I told my student. But then they pointed out that he wasn't especially wise, which I had to give them, and he didn't really live for justice, which I had to give them too. Ultimately, we decided as a whole that Sam stood for temperance. He never gave in to his own wishful thinking, but stood fast and firm to help his friends. So, what other fictional heroes can we think of that stand for the other virtues? I asked the kids. And this is where the fun began. I gave them a couple of days to do some research, and then we had our class discussion. For wisdom, the most common name offered was Yoda. Come on, I rebuked in a comical way. Really? That's such an obvious answer. I told them I thought the wisest character, if we were going the Star Wars route, was Luke Skywalker. Not at first, of course, but after Luke learned to master his own feelings and gained a deeper insight into others' feelings, he became a calm, cool, and collected Jedi Knight, who was smart enough to take on the dark side of the Force. They were not convinced. Apparently, Luke holds less appeal for the under 40 crowd than Yoda. For justice, we turn to the Chronicles of Narnia. Edmund, who actually becomes King Edmund the Just, after redeeming himself, was the fairly unanimous choice. For courage, we went to the world of superheroes. A big debate arose about Superman versus Batman. Superman, it was pointed out, was very courageous, but then again, he was impervious to everything except kryptonite. And how many people carry kryptonite in their pocket? Right. Batman, on the other hand, was just an ordinary guy with lots of gadgets, who was seriously brave. This remained an unresolved dispute, and just may be for the rest of time. I actually used that great rivalry to bring up one of my all-time favorites, Achilles versus Hector. It was a fun way for me to introduce this ancient feud to those who hadn't heard about it. Basically, I told them Achilles was the greatest hero of the Greeks. His mother was a goddess, and when he was a baby, she dunked him in the river Styx and made him invincible, except for his heel, which was where she was holding him. What's more, Achilles' armor was forged by a god, making him even more impossible to defeat. And to top it all off, Achilles was the best trained warrior of all time. The dude liked to fight. Hector, on the other hand, who was the champion of the Trojans, did not like to fight, nor did he have a goddess for a mother, or a god to forge his armor. In fact, he was just an ordinary guy who was especially good with the sword, fighting to save his home when 1,000 Greek ships invaded his shores. Then I told the kids about the epic fight between Achilles and Hector. They were so excited by it. Who says kids can't be taught the classics anymore? The final virtue to be debated was temperance. What character from a book or movie best embodied the art of self-control? We turned to the world of Harry Potter for that one. Seems like Harry himself, though sometimes something of a rule breaker, never abused his unique powers for self-gain. As one student said, he could have used his invisibility cloak 100 times to do bad things. Instead, he used his powers for the greater good. That's the great lesson Rawlings teaches. It was quite a wonderful teaching day for me, one that sprang completely from a boy in a costume. Although I may have veered off topic for a day, I think the lessons learned were more valuable than anything in today's curriculum. Teachers need the freedom to teach. Freedom they can't have if they're only teaching so their students can pass tests. I'm pretty sure my students won't find anything about Hector on the Common Core tests. I'm equally sure that what they learn about wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance may stay with them for the rest of their lives. Mr. Browne. December 1st. Fortune favors the bold. Virgil. December 2nd. Kindness is difficult to give away because it keeps coming back. Marcel Proust. December 3rd. The smallest good deed is better than the grandest intention. Unknown. December 4th. I'm not afraid of storms, for I'm learning how to sail my ship. Louisa May Alcott. December 5th. On that best portion of a good man's life, his little, nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and of love. William Wordsworth. December 6th. By perseverance, the snail reached the ark. Charles Spurgeon. December 7th. I believe that every human mind feels pleasure in doing good to one another. Thomas Jefferson. December 8th. I've learned that life is like a book. Sometimes we must close a chapter and begin the next one. Hans. December 9th. You're like a bird. Spread your wings and soar above the clouds. Murray. December 10th. The sun does not shine for a few trees and flowers, but for the wide world's joy. Henry Ward Beecher. December 11th. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Walt Disney. December 12th. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King, Jr. December 13th. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. C.S. Lewis. December 14th. Life is like an ice cream cone. You have to lick it one day at a time. Charles M. Schulz. December 15th. Accept what you have and treat it well. Brody. December 16th. For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only words of kindness. And for poise, walk with the knowledge that you are never alone. Audrey Hepburn. December 17th. True wisdom lies in gathering the precious things out of each day as it goes by. E.S. Bolton. December 18th. Nothing will work unless you do. Maya Angelou. December 19th. Even the smallest person can change the course of the future. J.R.R. Tolkien. December 20th. To give service to a single heart by a single act is better than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. Mahatma Gandhi. December 21st. One little word can light up someone's day. Ainsley. December 22nd. Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. Desmond Tutu. December 23rd. Happiness resides not in possessions and not in gold. Happiness dwells in the soul. Democritus. December 24th. Goodness does not consist in greatness, but greatness in goodness. Athenaeus. December 25th. A single sunbeam is enough to drive away many shadows. St. Francis of Assisi. December 26th. Amid life's quests, there seems but worthy one, to do men good. Gamaliel Bailey. December 27th. A big heart is determined to make other hearts grow. Christina. December 28th. Happiness is someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for. Chinese proverb. December 29th. We didn't all come over on the same ship, but we're all in the same boat. Bernard Baruch. December 30th. Dream your dreams, but when you act, plant your feet firmly on the ground. Noel Caruso. December 31st. Let us always meet each other with a smile. Mother Teresa. Mysteries. December, the end of the year, the start of a new year. A chance to remember, a chance to look forward. It was nice hearing from some of my former students. Auggie, Summer, Charlotte, and of course, the biggest surprise to me of all, Julian. That is, until I got this short and pithy email from Amos, one of my students from last year. This boy, who was generally a quiet kid, not one to speak up in class, surprised us all when he came to the rescue of Augie and Jack at the nature retreat last year. He led the charge and showed great leadership. Sometimes kids don't even know they're leaders until they start to lead. When I got this email, it was the answer to one little mystery that I know I wasn't the only person to wonder about. To T. Browne at beecherschool.edu from Amos Conti at wazoomail.com. Subject, my precept, at last. Hey, Mr. B. Hope you have a happy holiday. Sorry I didn't get around to sending you a postcard over the summer. I had a lot going on, you know. But here goes. Don't try too hard to be cool. It always shows, and that's uncool. What do you think? Cool, huh? I won't explain what my precept means because it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, you probably know who I'm talking about, right? No, seriously. Last year was tough. Man, lots of drama. Yo, I'm not into drama, usually. That's why I was so sick and tired of that stuff going on with Julian. There's not a lot of drama this year, which is good. No one bothers Auggie anymore. I mean, a little, but not too much. Let's face it, people are always going to stare a bit. But Augie's a tough little dude, and no one messes with him anymore. Okay, look, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Ready? So, you know how Julian got into big trouble for leaving me notes in Augie's locker, right? Everyone says it's the real reason Julian's not coming back to school next year. I've even heard a few people say he was actually suspended for it. Anyway, the big mystery is, how did Mr. Tushman even find out about the notes? Auggie didn't tell him, Jack didn't tell him, Summer didn't tell him, Julian didn't tell him, Miles didn't tell him, and Henry didn't tell him. You know how I know? Because, drum roll here, it was me. I'm the one who told Mr. Tushman about the notes. Didn't see that coming, did you? So let me explain a bit. What happened was that Henry and Miles knew Julian was leaving the mean notes. They told me about the notes, but made me swear not to tell anyone. But after they told me, I thought it just really sucked big time that Julian was being so mean to Auggie. It was kind of like bullying. And even though I swore to Henry and Miles that I wouldn't say anything, I needed to tell Tushman about it so he could do something to protect Auggie. Hey, I'm an upstander, not a bystander. Little dudes like Auggie need guys like me to step it up. Right? So that's the story, Mr. B. Don't go telling anyone, though. I don't want to be accused of being, you know, a snitch. Then again, I guess I don't really care. I know I did the right thing. Keep warm, Mr. B. It's cold out there. Yeah, maybe it's cold out there. But this warmed my heart completely. I have to admit, I did not see that one coming. Just goes to show, everyone really does have a story to tell. And most people, at least in my experience, are a little more noble than they think they are. Mr. Browne.